Inequalities can be tough, so I wanted to walk you through a few inequality word problems to help you get the hang of it. Now let's take a look at number 11 here. To take sweepstakes for the largest pumpkin crop at Riverside County Fair, the average weight of Ethan's 2 pumpkins must be greater than 285. I'm going to put the average weight. I'm highlighting all the important stuff. One of his pumpkins weighs 903. What's the least amount of pounds the second pumpkin can weigh in order for him to win the prize? Okay, so here's the thing. We know something must be greater than 875. So to set up this inequality, I'm going to zoom in here. Let's start with 875. I know whatever I'm dealing with has to be greater than it. Can't be equal to, has to be at least greater than it. Okay, and it mentions the average of 2 pumpkins. Find the average of 2 things. Have to divide 2 quantities by 2. Now I know one of them, it gives me this information that one of these pumpkins weighs 903 pounds. Do I know the weight of the other one? Not quite. That's what we're trying to figure out. So I'm going to call that X. And now what I have myself here is a basic, it's a 2-step inequality. If it's an equation, we tend to rock these things. But when we see them as inequality, sometimes we make them out to be tougher than they actually are. Now what I want to do is I want to isolate X. So first thing I'm going to do is multiply each side by 2. That does is this cancels it out. I get myself a nice 2-step. Actually, it's probably only going to be a 1-step by the time I'm done with it. Inequality. 875 times 2 will give me, let's see, 1,750 is less than 903 plus X. Now I get X alone, just subtract each side. 903. Some basic work here. And I would get, let's see, I'll even do it out. Who needs a calculator, right? Borrow from 4. Alright. So now what this is telling me is that whatever pumpkin I have has to be bigger than 847 pounds. Because once it's 847 pounds, it's going to be equal to 1,750. So it's telling me describe in words the quantities that would work in this situation. Any pumpkin more than 847, pounds. It says to write my answer in both interval and set notation. Now for your homework tonight, all we're asking for is interval notation. So I'm going to go with the parentheses here because it can't include 847. Once it does, it's equal, and we want something that's going to make it greater. So after 147, any weight after that can be a microscopic decimal or a microscopic fraction. And then this pumpkin can literally weigh whatever we want it to, as long as it's greater than 847. So I've just completed number 11 for this Ready, Set, Go. Setting up this inequality, interpreting it, and solving it. Hope this helps.